Hi guys, welcome back to Simple Living and aka Review Thursday. Book Review Thursday. I think I like them. Book Review Thursday. Today we're going over Broken Whispers by Neva Altaj. This is the second book in the series and it is one of my favorites. I'll say it's top 5 in the series. And there's 10 books. 11 if you count the second generation. Yeah, let's get into it. This one is an arranged marriage story. It goes over Bianca and I'm forgetting his name now. Mikhail. I like to say Mikhail. I'm gonna put his name, the spelling way of it, the Russian spelling way, I guess. I hope it's not Michael. I don't know. I feel like no hate towards all the Michaels, but I think Michael is a boring name. And Mikhail sounds so much better. Sounds more like angelic to it, like Michelangelo. Whatever. So a little synopsis. Over here we have Mikhail, which is, I'm gonna love it again. I'm saying the Brabus Butcher. I love that name. Another name for him is like information extraction. He's the torturer of the enemies, the people they trap to find out information of like who has the things against them, or like whoever does something bad against them and they wanna revenge. The prologue stars actually sorry. The prologue whatever. It starts with Mikhail's story on how he's found. He was actually tortured himself by the prior Don of the Russian Mafia, which is the father of the Don that we have within the series. And don't worry, he killed his dad, so nobody liked that Don. But everybody likes Roman, as we know from our previous book. He was heavily tortured. He was burned to the point that they tried to take his eye out. And they didn't think he was going to leave, but he made it through. And he became the Brabus Butcher because nobody knows torturing like him because he went through it. So who's better to torture other people than someone that was tortured themselves? Make sense? Then we have Mikhail that's been obsessed with this dancer. I'm blanking, sorry. My cat is distracting me. We see him in chapter 1 that he's obsessed over this dancer, which we later find to know is Bianca, and she is leaving the dance company because of an injury to her back, and she's not able to train and dance for any length amount of time. So instead of taking smaller parts, she just decides to leave because she was the best. She wanted to live at the top, which in the book says it sounds vain, but like I can actually understand it. You were at the top, you want to live at the top, not at the bottom. One of the first quotes we see is, "I catch my reflection visible on the glass covering the poster and instantly let my hand fall back, feeling like my touch somehow tainted her. In my line of business, the scarier you look, the easier it is to make people talk." Obviously, this is Mikhail, and we get to understand that he is very scarred from the torturing that happened to the point that he's disfigured and he feels ugly in comparison to Bianca. But at the same time, he's kind of thankful for it because his job in the Brabant, the scarier you look, the easier it is to make people talk. And I can see that. And this is where we get introduced to his name, the Brabus Butcher, which I love. Love, love, love. The name. I don't know why. Ooh. Here we have the introduction to Bianca, and here says, the dull pain in my back is almost gone now, but I stopped deluding myself. It was just a passing thing months ago. I will never be able to withstand 6 hours practices 5 days a week again. So here's the introduction and the reason why Bianca leaves the dance company. Now, we don't exactly know yet what caused this injury, and to be honest, I don't think the book explains it, but I'll show you more down the line, because the accident she had was way too early to be related to this back injury, which makes me wonder, it's like we didn't get real closure in this, or maybe it was that and it just developed over time. Down the line, we see I'm not dying because of him again. Here's when we have Bianca knowing that she's gonna be married off to the Brava. So Bianca is in the Italian mafia. She's part of the Familia. And she's gonna be married to the Brava to create a treaty, a peace treaty. And she doesn't like her dad. Her dad, as we can see, he's very piece of shit. Basically, he's a terrible dad. He hits her, he belittles her, and he's gonna sell her off to the mafia. But at this point, we can see, because the point of woman at that point, or within the mafia, is to create treaties and connections. And she says, it's like, I'm not dying because of him again. We find out later in the accident, she could have died. So I'm assuming it is the same. This is Halo. The same accident. He's telling her she's gonna marry somebody within the Brava. And she's trying to deny, but she has a younger sister. Her name is Mylene, which is an introduction to the books down the line. We have Mylene. And she's 18 now, so he can't marry her off. Because we find out later in the book that she's been asked in marriage many times, but she denied all of them. And because her sister was younger, her father couldn't use her as a bargaining coin. But now she is. So she agrees to marry the Bravas. They don't know who she's going to marry yet. They don't find out who she's going to marry until the day of the wedding. And that's when they find out she's marrying the butcher. Or well, her parents. No, she doesn't find out he's a butcher until pretty much near the end of the book, which I think is sad. In this chapter, we have Roman speaking to like his couples, telling them that somebody's gonna marry, and Mikhail, when he sees a picture of her, he finds out is the girl he's been obsessing over this whole time, going to see her at the ballet. So he agrees to marry her. And we find the issue that he has a problem with people touching him, with the exception of Lena, which is his daughter. We have this interesting scene in which they already got married, and when Bianca is talking to her mom over texting, her mom talks, it is such a shame that a man like Luca to end up with a bitch like her. Someone should tell him it's time for him to cut the hair of his. It's not proper. He's a couple, for God's sake. Is there a grooming standard in the mafia? Or like in this case, La Familia? I don't know. But we also talk about Luca, which is another character we get to find out later in books. Here's we have Bianca's first view of Mikhail. Those cars look old. The interesting thing is I don't mind them at all. Actually, I find my husband extremely handsome. So physically, I have no complaints whatsoever. Good. And we find out that she really doesn't care. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Bianca is selectively mute. From the accident she had in which she almost died, she gets damage to the vocal cords where they're trying to intubate her. So speaking hurts her, so she uses sign language and like writing down on her phone or paper to communicate mostly. Here's we have the first taste of possessiveness from Mikhail. You touch my wife again in any way, I cut off your hand. I hear you speak badly about her, I cut out your tongue. You dare to even think of hitting her ever again, I cut off your head. Am I clear, Bruno? Bruno is Bianca's dad, and they went to pick up her clothes. He wanted her to spy for him inside the Brava, but she said no, and he backhanded her. And then she went over to the car to leave, but Mikhail saw her face red and he went back and stabbed Dad in the hand. And told this, and we love that. Fuck him up. So Bianca finds out Lena eats Mikhail's daughter. At the beginning she thought she was maybe the living cleaner? Yeah, that's the word. And she asks about her routine. And this is very important because it shows that even though the daughter is not hers, it's not Bianca, she is willing to make it work. And she's interested in her daughter. And that is very important to me. If you ever date somebody that have kids, you better be interested in learning about them and their life, because they will be there for the rest of your life. And if you're not willing to make space in your heart for them, then don't bother. Don't be that person. We have a lot more Russian words within here, and I made myself to find the definition. I'm not really gonna try to pronounce all of them because Spanish is my first language, so I read things as I see them read them. And I am 100% sure that's not how you read it in Russian. But the first thing is Zayka, and it means little rabbit, bunny. And that's what Mikhail calls Lena, his daughter. One of the things Bianca says during this one, it amazes me the way Mikhail interacts with his daughter. We love a man that is sweet with kids. It's something within our womanly brain. It's like, a good one. Does anybody relate? It is attractive to see a man interact with children. Yes it is. So then we have here the understanding of Bianca, because she says, I have no idea what exactly his job in the Brava is, which is so sad. Why I understand why Mikhail is like wary of telling her, because one, the way he looks is scary, and at this point they still haven't passed through that, and he thinks like probably being the butcher, it's gonna be looking down upon, but like I'll be freaking proud if it was me, talking about the book, like, yeah, look at me wrong, let me see what my husband will do to you, I dare you, look at me the wrong way. But obviously it's not gonna happen. And one of the things, we have a torture scene from Mikhail in which he cuts this guy's ear, plucks his teeth out, his nails, and then cuts the fingers off. And somebody says, I've always admired how you managed to keep them alive so long. Practice makes perfect, Yuri. That's insane, but it also brings us into the thing, it's like, I wonder if practice makes perfect. Well, I assume it's because he's done it so many times. But at the same time, he's pouring his personal experience into it, because we find out he was heavily tortured. He was cut up, he was burned, he was whipped. Like I said before, they tried to take his eyes out, which, how hard is to take an eye out? I feel like with a spoon it should be rather easy, but I don't know. I've never taken somebody's eyes out. I hope nobody takes my eyes out. Have you? Whatever. And then he finds whatever he wants from this guy. He shoots him in the head. And there's like, finish. You can bring the next one. And he's like, oh. We have a carousel of men that need to be interviewed. Okay, so here's where we get a little bit of a view or a description on how badly he is. The inside of his forearm is badly burned, a long swath of molted skin running diagonally from his wrist to the inside of his elbow. It looks like a very old scar, just like the others. Long, thin lines crisscross his arm in different directions, probably wounds inflicted by the tip of a knife. I'm gonna try and find the fan art that they do for these photos in Neva Altaj Instagram, and I'm gonna put it over here because I don't think it's accurate. This fan art, they make the men so handsome, and that cannot be it. We have this man that it was like churcher. This man needs to be like, if I don't know you and it's dark at night and I run into you, and I have to be able to faint of the fear or like piss myself or something. We cannot have like this extremely handsome man and then describe them like this. It just does not add up, at least to me. And also we find out this is just his arm. Apparently his chest and his back, which it's where he got whipped, are much worse. Here's the first introduction of nearness between Mikhail and Bianca, and is the word Sonishko, Nishko, which means little sun, like sunshine, which is what Mikhail calls Bianca, which we love that. They go shopping for the first time, the three of them as a family, and one thing that Mikhail says is like, woman, never enough clothes, and yes. Too much clothes, too much shoes, those are never a thing, at least with me. What about you? What do you think? Can you have enough clothes or enough shoes? Yeah, nothing. Never. We could have a whole room full. I don't have anything to wear. So they went out for dinner, their first outing on their own. This one is like kind of a long excerpt, so bear with me. Mikhail's dish looks like pork as well, cut in small slices with heavy seasoning over it. Smells amazing, so I lean closer, pick one piece of meat with my fork, and just stuff it into my mouth. You like it? It's a very visible smile on his lips, as if he's amused with me stealing his food. He should smile more. I stab a piece of meat from my plate and lift my fork towards him, wondering what he'll do. Mikhail looks at the fork, then to me, and leans forward, taking the offering. Absolute perfection, he says, while looking right at me. And I think he's not talking about the food. He is not. He's talking about you. But they're finally like getting close. This like physical attraction is starting to build. We love a slow burn. Yeah, we do. Yeah, as bad as it is, my right eye is so much worse. That she'll never see. At this point in the book, I thought he lost his eye. But in my head, and I'm like, how bad can a lost eye be? Like, I imagine just like an empty eye socket. Like, how bad could that be? But then we find out later in the book that his eye is still there. It's just like blind, cloudy. He has like 5% left. So he covers it with an eye patch. He looks a little bit like a pirate. So this is the first scene in which they finally get physical. So Bianca was dancing. Mikhail goes, takes a look at her, and finds that she has, and then he finds out that she has pain in her back, and that's the reason why she left the ballet. He figures her out that it was not just for the season; it was forever. And he carries her, and then like cuddling, and she starts drawing on his chest. And I noticed the exact moment Mikhail relaxes while I'm drawing on his chest, because his body tenses, just in case I do it one more time, and trace the letters. Kiss me. I managed to undo the first 2 buttons, but there's at least 5 more, and I can concentrate on undoing all of them. Instead, I thrust my hands into the opening, grabbed both sides of the shirt, and yanked them apart with all my might. The material tears, buttons spring, and falls to the floor. Oh, here talks about Bianca talking about her previous sexual relationships and how she faked it. I thought you needed to be a virgin in the mafia. I thought that was like a really big thing. Is it not? Am I crazy? But now that I think about it, most of the books, I need some water. Most of the books that I've read, nobody's a virgin. So I guess no, it's not a requirement. At least on this realm of the books. Here we go with more Russian phrases. Why am I putting a French accent to it? You're a ray of light in a cloudy day, which makes sense because he calls her my sunshine. And then we have eyes of my wife kid. Michael sends behind me. At this point, they went out shopping, and there's this barista that thinks Mikhail is the father instead of the husband. So, yeah. Some possessiveness. You know, I'm a sucker for it. So at this point, they're being followed, and he types like, I need one of them alive, which I think it hints on what his job is to her, but she doesn't catch it. But later down the line, he sends back this one and take him to the East warehouse. I'll question him tomorrow. Call the dog to see him if necessary. I need him alive. So it's interesting to know that they will torture you, heal you, to keep torturing you. That's horrible. Imagine you're just like going to the church, you're just like waiting, pleading to die, and this motherfucker just heal you to keep going. I don't know what I'll do. I'll find a way to kill myself at that point. It's insane. No. But he says what his job is, and I guess she doesn't hear him. Here we have the description of his eye. He still has both eyes, but with his left eye is clear, deep ocean blue. The iris on his right one is much paler and foggy. There is some heavy scarring on the skin around it, on the eyelid, as if someone tried to remove his eyes. I have around 5% sight left in my right eye, but it interferes with the sight of my left one, making everything blurry. I wear the patch all the time, except when I'm sleeping, working out, or showering. Again, photo comparison. It just not relate. I'm sorry. This is when we finally have a very intimate scene. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep. You are. He places a kiss on my ankle. So fucking beautiful. Another kiss. This one on the inside of my thigh. I watch him as he's bent down, buries his face between my legs, and licks my kitten. I'm not much to look at, I know, but I'll make sure you never think about any other man. This is a turning point in their relationship. Mikhail declares, it's like, okay, you're mine, you'll be mine, nobody else. And I love that. I love possessiveness. Don't know why. Just a thing. It's a toxic problem. Do I care? Nah. Marvin, mine, he growls as he starts sliding his member inside me slowly. I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. If I see any man touch you, I'm going to kill him, Bianca. He places his palm on my cheek and thrusts himself inside me. Then he retreats. I always have to point the place where like they're in the act, but then it gets possessive. It's just like, mine, you're mine. Love it. What? Oh, this scene. So they're having, well, I want to say intercourse. He's pleasuring her in front of a mirror. Eyes in the mirror, Bianca, or I'll stop. I open my eyes instantly. Good girl. Oh, I'm ridiculous. I am so ridiculous. But I love it. I love it. I love it. Whatever. Here's Bianca. Wicked, wicked men. The silent types are always the most dangerous. And that is so true. But they're also the most interesting. I love it. I'm such a sucker for Neva Altaj's writing. Goodness. Okay. More Russian words. There's no way. There's so many consonants and no vowels. F. I'm just gonna put it here. If Solinska. So we know what he's calling her sunshine again. There is a piece of sky in your eyes. Oh, sweet, so romantic. Have you met a guy that actually said all that kind of stuff for you? There was only one instance in which I remember a guy saying something about my eyes. I have brown eyes. I have very dark brown eyes, like to the point that some people say they're black. And he didn't even say it romantic. He says like, your eyes are beautiful, and I can see like a ring of the purple around your irises, and I thought it was so beautiful. And I was like, you made me feel so special. And I told my husband that one day. He was like, he was lying to you. Your eyes are brown. So yeah, whatever. Here's we find out the accident of what happened and why Bianca cannot attack. I was 11. Father was driving me to training. It was Sunday around 7 in the morning. There was a party the previous night. They were celebrating something. He was still drunk. We crashed. They say I wasn't breathing when the ambulance came. They had to intubate me on the spot. The paramedic who did it was young and scared. He messed up something, managed my vocal cords. And her father had a dislocated shoulder. Bruno Scardoni is like a cockroach. If you haven't heard this saying, cockroaches never die. You can cut off their head and they'll still live for a while. So we also know here, which we know from the previous one in the book, like she despises his dad. Her dad. More Russian. We have sunshine again. I know that one by memory now. It means you've ignited a fire in my soul. Bianca. Well, Solinska like sunshine, not Bianca. Which, yeah, that's a nice one. That's poetry. Coming from Mikhail the Butcher. Sorry for the change of scenery, but I realized a part of the video cut. And it's a very important part that I do not want to skip on. So here it is. Here they're gonna go to a party, Nonna Giulia's birthday party, which is some parts of Bianca's family in the Italian mafia. And as they're leaving the garage, like their house, she whispers to him, I don't have any panties. Sneaky, teasy. Bianca is like really getting out of her shell, and I am here for it. Love it. So while they're at the party, Mikhail grabs her chair, pulls her closer to me. Baby, I bend to whisper in her ear, come and sit on my lap. Are we getting frisky in a party? An outdoor party with 200 people around, with the Italian mafia around. That's dangerous, Mikhail, but I am here for it. So here for it. And this is more of him talking. I am a. Sorry, but that's my husband. I am a very jealous man. His finger curls, causing me to bite my lips to suppress a moan. I don't deal well with other men ogling my wife. The pressure between my legs skyrockets. No one is allowed to look at you, Bianca. Just me. We love some possessiveness. I love some possessiveness. Is it toxic? Yeah. Do I care? No. Am I gonna keep reading it? Yes. And smiling over it? Absolutely. This one is one of the little quotes we have from Nona Julia. The way you look at my Bianca, like you would lay your body over a field of burning coals so she could cross it without burning her feet. I am melting. My heart was ripped out of my body. That is just, yes. I hope everybody has a love like this. I don't know what to say. I am speechless. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Everybody deserves a love like this. This one is Roman and Mikhail. They're talking. And Roman is the backhand. We have, well, I'll be damned if someone told me a woman will have you, of all people, wrapped around her finger in less than a month. I would have considered them mad. You're the one to talk. Remind me how much time it took Nina to have you eating out of her hand. You were gone after a week, Roman. I love the sensitive side of these Russian men, because even though they're unhinged, they're marshmallows towards a woman, and we love caring villain, if that makes sense. We here they also talk about Mikhail possibly leaving his job, and he refuses. Information extraction is my job anyway. Who could be a better interrogator than someone who's experienced most of the torture technique himself? We love a man that loves his job, no matter how fucked up it might be. We just want our men to enjoy what they do for a living. I want to keep. Yes, this is the part where it would have cut off. So you'll be going back to the previous scenario. Stops now. I will touch you wherever and whenever I want. If I want to kiss you, you don't have the right to turn your head. No, don't baby me now. Sweet talk won't get you anywhere this time. Sweet talk? No more pulling away. No more hot and cold. No more long sleeve. If I see you in another long sleeve shirt around the house, I'm gonna tear it off with you. Yes, Bianca. Get yourself now. But he also lets us know that even the scariest of men, we're all insecure about something. No matter how fucked we are up inside, we're still humans at the end. More Russian. Я люблю тебя, сей душу, Solinchko. I love you with all my soul, and je ne pas venir que I won't let anyone take you away. We want some more possessiveness. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. She seems so breakable, but it doesn't matter. No one will dare to put a finger on her ever again, because now she has her own monster to watch over her. Mikhail, you're not a monster, but we love you. Even if you were, we all need one at some point. We all have monsters inside. We all have good and bad. It's just a matter of time. Well, not a matter of time. It's just I don't know how to phrase it. The things that happen within our life dictate which side is bigger than the other. There's a strange look on Sergei's eyes. He's ready to defend his precious cargo from anyone who came close. Roman is going to lose it when he hears about this. This is an introduction to the next book. Sergei is another man within the Russian mafia, and they just intercepted a cargo, and there was a woman inside the cargo, and they saved her. And he is a very unhinged, I don't want to say criminal, because knowing his backstory, he's prior military. He was a hitman. And he obviously has PTSD from it. And we love him. He's like a very dangerous man. We love the dangerousness. Could it be that I am a little biased because of the military? So, my husband is prior military. I am still in the military. I'm technically still considered active duty, but under training orders because I will be commissioning as a nurse through the MISEP. Whatever. I'm biased towards the military. I just am. I love the military people, probably because I'm one of them, and my husband is too. We're nearing the end of the book. This is where Bianca finally finds out what Mikhail knows for a living. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. The world we live in is a fucked up one. I always knew so, and I will be only deceiving myself for believing Mikhail could be anything other than another product of the criminal world. Each item of clothing I own, every meal I've ever eaten, has paid for with blood money. I'm not a hypocrite, will not pretend otherwise. Do I condone violence? No. Will I torture a person to get information if I need it? Probably not. But we love how down to earth Bianca is with this. But at the same time, she's been raised within the mafia, just the Italian mafia instead of the Russian. But it is so true, which is, I think I had an issue with the first book with Roman because, like, you know, this man is a killer. He killed somebody that hurt you, and then you run away. Fuck. But over here, Bianca accepts and be like, well, yeah, whatever, big deal. Like, you're in the mafia. I was raised in the mafia. Whatever. She has her priorities right, even if they're fucked, or even if we think they're wrong. In this book, they aren't. This is Roman to Mikhail, which I love. This is a heartwarming scene for me. Shut the fuck up. You almost got killed. He snarls. If I catch you working sooner than that, I'm swapping you with Pavel, and you're getting the clubs. You got me, Mikhail? I grind my teeth. Yes, I can. Pecan. How do you pronounce it? I feel like I want to say pecan. You sort of say. Do you say pecans or pecans? Perfect. We're expecting you the two for dinner when you're better, and use your free time to take your wife on a honeymoon or something. You're not getting a 2-month vacation again. Enjoy that time off, Mikhail. The mafia doesn't do vacation time. Ever, I think. He turns to leave, then looks over his shoulder. Sager dropped by yesterday when he heard you got shot. He wants you to text him the list of people who were involved in you getting shot so he can kill them. He said he's free this weekend. Love that. Love Sergey. Love Mikhail. Love Roman. But it shows that even within these fucked up organizations, there's still some kind of like care for the people you work with. There's some kind of brotherhood. Trauma bonding, how we like to call it. But it makes sense because like Bradman means brotherhood. Then we have the Italians, which is La Familia. So they're like center within family, people, blood bonds, which is heartwarming. Yeah. Trying to paint the mafia in a good light. This is, I don't know if you realize, but this book has way more spicy scenes than the first one. So we're getting there with Neva being a little more spicy, more dangerous, and unhinged, which we love that. We love an evolution. How much time you think it will take for you to make to come? What do you think? How much time will it take me to make you come? 5 minutes? I close my eyes and nod my head. I doubt it, baby, he whispers. You won't last more than 2 minutes. I lean back on his chest and open my legs slightly wider. The crazy thing this man can do with his hands, it's crazy. Eyes, Bianca, because again, they're in front of a mirror. Have you come in 2 minutes? I believe the 5. The 2, I feel like is a little bit of a stretch, but who knows? This is one of the final scenes. Bianca is giving Mikhail a private dance from the Swan Lake, which was one of her presentations. No one has ever looked at me the way Mikhail does. Like I'm something precious, and he's afraid that if he moves the eye from me, I might disappear. Such a silly man, my husband. No one will ever make me let go of him. Love. Love, 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 love. And this is the end. He put some things of like open fourth position, développé à faute, which are movements within the dance, which I don't know what they are, so I'll post some photos if I can find them. Other than that, thank you thank you so much for tuning in into my reading or review of Broken Whispers. Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Do you prefer this way of speaking? I didn't do a linear today. I went linear through the book. I like this way more. I think it's more spontaneous in the way I read it, but let me know if you like the prior way I mentioned it with romance book more. Other than that, I'll see you next Thursday with another book review.